Welcome to White Dark Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So today I am going to be doing the September second half reading for Scorpio. Let's go ahead and get started with the Animal Oracle. Frog, shark, and one more. Owl. Clearing, cleansing, healing. The frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. When in balance, clear energy and enthusiasm for life. When out of balance, depleted, running on empty. To bring into balance, lake, river, ocean, or bathhouse. Shark. Directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us. When in balance, intriguing, captivating, mysterious. When out of balance, sneaky, destructive. To bring into balance, honesty. Abundance, clairvoyant, treasures. The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is the companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or treasure is on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With owl wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon, how it can further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. When in balance, generous, trusting, secure. When out of balance, money quarrels, scarcity. To bring into balance, an offering. Scorpio, this definitely feels like burnout. It's like, when you're burnt out and you got too much on your plate and you can't think of anything that you can drop for now because everything feels so urgent, everything feels so important that you can't just put it down, take a step away, and take a break. This feels like this almost feels like you don't feel like you can afford to take a break. And I've kind of been hitting something like this myself lately. But I understand because I used to burn myself out so bad. I was working a full-time job, going to school. I was working three side hustles, and that all just kept going for years until I got sick, very sick, and then had surgery, brain surgery. But anyway, um so I get that feeling like you're juggling a bunch of things and you can't really drop any of the balls, and it feels like it comes from a scarcity mindset. um like really, like I can't afford to take a break. That's what this feels like. But the thing is, Scorpio, is that surely there are ways to optimize your load right now a little bit. What I recommend when you feel overwhelmed like this because there are just too many balls in the air, that's what she said, is to list out List out the things, make a list of the things, prioritize, and decide which things need to be tackled urgently, which things need to be maintained, which things can be consolidated. Like, for example, if you're working, let's say, two part time jobs on top of a full time job, could you maybe find something that pays you more so that you can just work that one part time job and your full time job, and you won't need the two, for example? You can work the same hours and make more. Or is there a hobby that you want to do that you could also make money off of, like something that you can just do on the side in your own time? It just feels like there are a lot of balls in the air, and you haven't even really had the room to stop and think, is there any way that I can make this easier on myself? It feels like hustle mode on steroids. Like, I have to keep all these balls in the air. But this is making me want to ask you, like, do you though? Is there anything that you can just kind of set down for now? Because I know that sometimes it can feel like if you don't keep all the balls in the air, if you don't do everything all the time, or you're not constantly active, that you're not actually accomplishing anything. But it's actually the opposite's true. If you don't focus your energy on something, nothing's going to be completed. It's important to work as hard as you can, but as hard as you can is not to the point of burnout. It's important to stop and kind of reevaluate your capacity, your maximum capacity as a human being as well. And if you need to take a break, take a break, because taking a break is not lost time. Taking a break is necessary. It's not something that you have to earn. Because that's another thing, is that, cars run better when you take care of them. So do humans. I always say, if you wake up in the morning and it's a choice between just quitting your job completely or taking a mental day, take the mental day. You know? Yeah. This is screaming burnout energy to me. So let's get into love. See what's going on there. That's weird. Where I split the deck immediately, I'm seeing three of swords and the devil, but let's see if they come out when I shuffle. Mother of swords, Mother of wands, Son of cups. Eight of swords, Daughter of pentacles, Ace of swords, the Hermit, Mother of cups, Six of swords, Father of wands. No, for some reason he feels like he goes like this. Ten of cups, Temperance. There it is. Okay. Oh, Scorpio. So this seems to be carrying the energy from the last reading that I did for Scorpio in love. As in, I'm seeing a divorce here again. Like the Ace of Swords and the Mother of Swords to me is giving, cut off energy. Because the Mother of Swords, if you look at her eyes, she's kind of, she's a little mean muggy. She's not exactly a warm and fuzzy character. She's discerning, she's observant. She feels like someone that's had enough right now. And then with the Mother of Wands and the Father of Wands wanting to sit that way, this feels like you were put in a position where you felt unsafe, where you had to protect yourself from someone that was supposed to be your counterpart. And that's kind of a bare minimum thing in relationships, isn't it? To get to feel safe. Yeah. And then we have the Eight of Swords and the Six of Swords. And this to me says that after this ending, you have been put through trial by fire. It hasn't been easy, but you've been growing in that pressure. Because the way I see this card is we have a chrysalis right here, and we have all these swords pointing at it, and it's hanging on a sword. It feels like something that has to grow in a hostile environment. And then we have the Six of Swords here, which tells me, though, that you have been growing, you have been going through it, and you've been sitting through the suck. You've been sitting through the suck, but you're doing it knowing that you're making your way out. Because we can't choose whether or not we suffer, but we can choose what we suffer for. And that's what I'm getting from this, is that you know what you're suffering for. You're suffering for your freedom, you're suffering for your autonomy, you're suffering for yourself. Daughter of Pentacles and the Mother of Cups with the Son of Cups tells me that you're coming out of this with very little as far as material things, but there's a richness that's been growing inside of you emotionally. That's likely why in the Animal Oracle we saw that you're burning yourself out, because there are likely material needs that are requiring that of you right now. But here we have the Hermit, Temperance, and the Ten of Cups. And that tells me that emotionally, you're in the process of healing. Whether you still be kind of like in that place where you're just sitting through the suck, waiting for it to stop sucking so bad, or you're getting to a point where you're starting to see that little dot of light ahead. But the Hermit being here tells me that that won't kick in until you manage to get out of survival mode. Because it's hard to heal in survival mode. Like this card says, you're growing in a hostile environment. And what comes out of that, I'm hearing it's not safe yet. You're healing in a hostile environment, but it's not safe to come out yet. It looks to me like you're working through your material things first. And once you're out of survival mode, once you actually get to at least rest in the fact that your bills are paid and you have what you need, then you can be a hermit for a little bit, retreat into your feelings and heal. With the 10 of Cups coming out in the end here, that to me says that it's kind of reassuring to me as the reader, honestly, that you're not coming out of this bitter and you're not coming out of this hateful. You're not coming out of this angry. You're coming out of this wise. That's reassuring to me because that's the route that a lot of people go. You know, they get into a bad relationship and then they get out of the bad relationship and they're just like, I'm just never going to love again. I'm just never going to trust anyone again. But that's the easy way out. That way you don't have to think. You just say no to everything that comes. But when you really process those things and you heal, what you gain is more tools of discernment. You learn to feel safe again because you trust yourself to keep yourself safe. You trust yourself to make the right call when it counts. That's how I see you coming out of this. Something to keep in mind when you feel yourself leaning towards hardening. When you feel yourself leaning towards hardening, just remember that you didn't go through all this just to end up alone. You didn't go through all this just to have no one to tell your stories to, just to never encounter a redemption arc. And I don't mean getting into another romantic relationship. I mean connection, friendships. I mean, sure, a potential future romantic relationship would be awesome. But if that's not what you want, that's fine too. But humans were built to connect. And you can't connect with other people if you stay hardened after a hard time. And especially a soul as wounded as yours that has been through so much deserves the work and attention from you to heal and to love again and to be loved again. You do the work because you deserve it. You deserve its rewards. All right, now let's get into Scorpio work. Wow. Okay. I think that's it. That just out. Okay, we got the Tower. Always love to see that in a work reading. Yeah. Then we got the Three of Wands, Nine of Wands, the Star, Eight of Pentacles, Daughter of Pentacles. Okay, how this feels to me. No, not yet. Tell me, why is the Tower here? Okay. Scorpio, this feels like the tower happened because someone withheld something from you in your work or in your finances. Someone withheld something from you, deprived you of something. But what the Six of Wands and the Three of Wands and then the Nine of Wands and then the Daughter of Wands and then the Fool tells me is that it's almost like you had an exit strategy. It's like someone was withholding something from you, whether it be like a promotion or benefits or a raise or something tangible, and you already knew that, so you came up with an exit strategy or a way to work around that. And you're going for it, and that's just kind of all I see here. Huh. Then we've got the Eight of Pentacles, and that's kind of a sit and wait card. Is it money that you're owed? Because it feels like a big setup right here, from the Three of Wands, Six of Wands, Nine of Wands, the Fool, to the Daughter of Wands, to the Star. It feels like a setup, like something got set up and now you just sit and wait. And then we have the Daughter of Pentacles, and that to me says that whatever you're waiting on, whatever you're owed, that you're working on getting, isn't necessarily big, but it is substantial enough to make it worth the effort. Two of Pentacles, decisions, balance, the Lovers, a choice, and the Eight of Wands. It seems like this is going to come to a quick conclusion, is what this feels like. Yeah, this is almost giving like settlement or negotiation kind of vibe. Mother of Wands. But there's someone that is insistent on withholding something from you that you are owed. Huh. Now I'm just being nosy. I was going to say, can we get a conclusion? Daughter of Cups. Feels like an offer. Death and the Three of Swords. I don't know, man. Not going to lie, this isn't looking promising. Okay, Strength. I don't know why, I just heard it's the principle of the matter when I pulled that. So yeah, like I said with the Daughter of Pentacles, it doesn't look like it's going to be something substantial, or I mean huge, game-changing, life-changing, but it's definitely going to be substantial enough to make it worth the effort. Yeah. But it does seem like the ending point to this is going to be pretty abrupt, sudden, or soon, however you want to take that. All right. Now let's get into shadow work. Oh, Nine of Swords, Six of Wands. We have Death. No, right there, Death. Yep. Daughter of Cups, Mother of Wands, Daughter of Wands, Ten of Cups, and the Star. Mm. Oh, interesting. Okay. Ah, funny enough, when I saw Death and Nine of Swords, and then the Six of Wands, Daughter of Cups, Mother of Wands, Daughter of Wands, Ten of Cups, the Star, I heard alchemy, because you're turning an ending into hope. And it seems that they want one from this deck that I don't use very much, honestly. I tend to use the archetypes deck more. Well, let's see. Let's see what they got. I can never figure out how to shuffle these. Okay. You. Whoa. Huh. I only meant to pick one, but Jupiter and Venus came out together. So let's see what that's about. Jupiter. What number are you? 6. There we go. Expansion, possibility, fortune. Jupiter is often a welcome sight, emerging from the darkness, shimmering with possibilities. It is the planet of growth, expansion, success, and elevation. When this card appears, the future is full and bright, perhaps even dazzling. Everyone wants to be around Jupiterian energy and to claim a little for themselves, so there's likely a magnetic feeling at play. The work is to keep Jupiter's bigness in balance during the wave of expansion that's taking place. Its shadow is most easily seen in celebrity culture, excess consumption, and messaging of never enough. You may begin comparing yourself with others or assessing your value. Don't double judge yourself for this. Jupiter happens. Instead, realign with the benevolent message in your heart. What truly needs expanding? It's likely not your followers or your bank account. Venus. With the arrival of Venus, the senses open as if for the first time. It is the planet of pleasure, of touch, of sensual delights. Venus is often depicted as romance or eroticism between people, but it can also be experienced as an all out love affair with Mother Nature herself. Aphrodite emerging from the ocean is a classic example of Venus imagery, as is Cupid with his bow. No matter how old or jaded you are, when this card appears, it's a sign that attraction is at an all time high. The laboratory is alight with love. You may be in love with the work, with the materials, with another person, or with the world itself. Seeing beauty in small moments is a sign Venus is in balance, an obligatory reminder that pleasure and pain are usually found intertwined. Indeed, it is. Anyway, um, yeah. What this tells me, Scorpio, is that with the Nine of Swords and Death being here, perhaps what they were speaking of was your own sense of self worth, especially if you're going through the loss of a partner. Let's say you're going through the loss of a job, or both, or you're going through turbulent times in any way. It's human nature to question your own competence, your own abilities, your own worth, your own value. And with Venus and Jupiter both coming out, this talks to me about how do you measure your worth? As you come back from death in the Nine of Swords, endings, death and rebirth, pain, as you recover from this, what do you think remains? How do you describe yourself to yourself? What are the things about yourself that you like that have nothing to do with being helpful or of service to others? Daughter of Cups, Mother of Wands, Daughter of Wands. This tells me that you have an emotional nature. You're in touch with your feelings, as are most water signs. Daughter of Wands, Mother of Wands tells me, though, that you also have a passionate side, a fighter spirit with a lover's heart. Is that how you see yourself? Or right now, do you think that the fighter is a little battle worn? Do you think that your lover's heart has been stepped on because it wasn't good enough? Let me tell you something. As someone who, for the longest time, struggled with self worth, with body image issues, with comparing myself to other women and feeling like I was inadequate, like I wasn't good enough for anyone. Insecurity can eat you alive if you let it. But the thing about insecurity, it's a shame how much it also hides, as in how much good it also hides. Because when you're too shy to show it, it's a little hard to put what makes you so lovable out to the forefront. When you don't want to be seen at all, it makes it a little hard to put yourself out there for connection. So sometimes it's important to stop and ask yourself, what is my worth? What am I worth? Is another person's inability to see your worth a reflection of your worth, or is it a reflection of their capacity to see you? Is another person's inability to value you a reflection of your value, or a reflection of their limitations in their capacity to love and value others? Was it your shortcoming, or was it theirs? You're transmuting not just an ending into a beginning, you're transmuting self loathing into a new sense of self. You're transmuting self deprecation and self blame, not into deflection, not into projection, but pure self acceptance. Because you no longer measure your worth based on who you're with or what you have. You're watching yourself grow in a hostile environment. You're watching yourself reemerge from the rubble. You're watching yourself maintain hope in a hopeless situation. You're watching yourself claw your way out of a hole, and you're gaining a newfound admiration for yourself. And you're starting to realize that what makes you valuable, what makes you worthy, never was your ability to hold it all together. It was always in your ability to get your head back in the game after it all fell apart. And still not lose sight of your heart. Going back to the animal oracle, remember to take a break when you need it. You don't have to earn those. You just have to be tired or aware that you're about to burn yourself out. You're allowed to take care of yourself because yourself is how you continue to exist in the world. Your body is a vessel for your soul to experience life, and your mind is the lens through which you view it. Keep it clean, keep it clear, keep it focused, keep your body healthy, well nourished, well rested, because you seem to be in the middle of something big, and you need to keep close tabs. Check in periodically with yourself, see how you're doing, and respond to it. You're worthy because you are. You're lovable because you are. You're deserving of care because you are. You're deserving of consideration and care, first and foremost from yourself, because you are, because you exist, because you are human and you are doing your best. Well, I hope you liked what you saw here today, and my memory got wiped of all of the things that I usually say at the end of the video. Oh, if you liked what you saw here today, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment to help me out with the algorithm, hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. I think moving forward, I'm just going to be doing general readings per sign or something like that. I don't know. Stick with me and see it all unfold, I guess. And I'll see you in the next one.